guys, this is my favorite skin. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I last posted a video and I do apologize. I was awake for about 2 weeks because I was on vacation in Korea, Seoul, and China. While amidst my trip there and my vacation, something very exciting did happen, and one of the biggest events incoming for Girls Frontline Exilium 2, and that was the release of the character here on my screen, Klukai, which has been highly anticipated by the Girls Frontline 2 community online. And everyone's been kind of raving about it. And today, this video, I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about her and her kit and my opinion on her and why I think she's useful, as well as going into the time-limited event Aphelion, which has been released quite early on already. It's been released for a while. We're kind of in the middle of it at the moment, but incoming we have part 2 of the event, which will be releasing in the next few days. So I will be going in depth of what we can expect there and an overview of all the things I'm excited about that release. Now, first thing first, going into the release of Klukai, looking at her on my screen here, you know, there's no doubt in my mind why she's popular is because one of the biggest things there is her design. The devs really didn't hold back in putting together her design and character design here, and she's known as kind of like the motorcycle girl, which, you know, who's not to love a girl with guns and on a motorcycle. So kudos to the dev team for kind of creating this amazing looking character. She's got a couple of skins as well, and very, very awesome animations, which we will kind of demonstrate in a moment. Her kit in itself, she is a corrosion damage dealer, and a lot of AoE damage and crowd control involved. There will be a lot of, I guess, map cleaning. I kind of use her and kind of describe her as a map cleaner. This is one of her skins that I purchased, but you can also get a free skin, which I have already obtained from the event, also called the Speed Star. This one here has a little bit of more fan service than the other skin. I find them both really cool, so that's why I have both. This one has retained the cap from her original design, whereas the third skin does not have the cap there. Alright, and let's go into the demonstration of her kit and how I use this character. And right off the bat, I usually like to put Klukai right in the most optimal position for mobility, as we will be utilizing that and in combination with her ultimate skill predominantly at the start of the round to try and clear the map of as many enemies as possible when we have a large map with scattered enemies like this. And I will demonstrate that right now. Why her kind of ultimate skill is really good for clearing maps and why I call her a map cleaner is because it actually covers a very wide area and has a bonus when you kill multiple enemies at once. So if the first turn that you use this particular skill, at the bottom it says if 2 or more targets is killed, this skill can be used again up to a maximum of 1 additional time. So she actually has the ability to use this skill twice if you sweep 2 or more enemies in one go from the turn that she uses the skill the first time around. So let me try and demonstrate this. She also has an insane amount of mobility, so she can move a lot and position herself into an optimal spot around the map. I would try to strategically position her as close and relative to where most of the enemies congregate that you would like to kill. I can see these two here have corrosion weakness, so I'd most likely like to target these two alongside maybe another enemy. So let me try and position her here. And she basically rides her motorbike in a row, and in that particular row with a width of 5 tiles, as you can see, she has an AoE attack targeting all of these enemies. In this case, it doesn't look like it's killing all of them, so what I might do is I might try and use a different character first. Let's try this. So we've lowered the health with Sormi, and then we'll position her here again. And then use that skill. As you can see now with the lowered HP, these two units will get killed from Klukai's unit, ultimate. So that's killed two of the enemies, and as you can see now the ultimate is still active and we can use this skill again. So what I then like to do is, again, she gets granted the mobility to move around and put her in the most optimal position and position her again where she can again sweep an additional 3 more enemies. And one really cool thing about this is at the end of this skill, she automatically gains 6 tiles of additional movement, so you don't need to be worried about where she ends up in this position after she's used the ultimate twice, because you can then reposition her again. And that's why I absolutely love this particular unit. And this particular skill for her, and I believe this is predominantly what makes her really, really strong and stand out for kind of the AoE and crowd control, and to really, really quickly and effectively take out the enemies off the map on the first go. And with her second and third skills, which I'll quickly just demonstrate here or showcase, is she does have corrosion element in even her skill 1 and skill 2. They are also both AoE, so really, really, really great for clearing a map of multiple enemies. She applies corrosion damage, but the second skill also applies a debuff and kind of like a bleeding situation called Toxic Infiltration, which applies continuous corrosion damage for an additional 2 turns at the end of those 2 turns. Therefore, just making her really, really great for constantly damaging multiple enemies on the map. Now, if you're kind of thinking whether she's only just great for map clearing, let me quickly show you. She actually has a few equipment keys in her kit, which will also make her beneficial in boss battles, and does not limit her to just AoE and kind of damaging multiple enemies at once. So her kit has 2 additional keys that are very, very useful, which are this one here. If the ultimate skill Devastating Drift only hits 1 target, it increases the damage dealt by 30%. So this gives a bit of a compensation for if she is not hitting multiple targets at once and she's actually used for a boss battle stage. You can actually equip this key on her to make sure that she is still dealing an increased amount of damage to compensate for that, I guess, downside that she cannot use the ultimate skill twice and she can only use it once, but she can use it once with an additional 30% damage. The other one that she's able to use at the start of the turn, if there is only 1 enemy target, applies 1 stack of corrosive infusion to them for 2 turns. Additionally, gain 2 points of Confectance Index. Again, a buff for Klukai where she is able to have some benefits if there is only 1 target enemy on the map and she is not using her skills to kill or to attack multiple enemies at once, which she is definitely still very well designed for boss battles as well as AoE damage, which makes her kind of a very great all-rounder. And the other equipment keys are to be gaining Confectance Index points. I did not equip this one on her because I don't find it very beneficial, given that I will predominantly be using her ultimate skill the most, which does not actually use any Confectance Index points. The only downside is that it has a long cooldown of 6 turns. Once you've used that once or twice, given the conditions, you have to wait mandatorily for the 6 turns to finish before she can use this skill again, whereas her skill 1 and skill 2 is still usable and still beneficial with a confectance cost of 3 points. And that is kind of my overview of Klukai and her kit. So far, I find her very, very useful, as I said, in clearing the maps. The weapon that I'm using on her at the moment is not her own designed weapon or her exclusive weapon. It is actually Tololo's weapon, because given that I am a half free-to-play, even though I'm not entirely free-to-play member, I still wanted to save up on as much currency for pulls as I can for future characters. And her weapon here, Tololo's weapon, is really, really effective. She really helps boost Klukai's damage, so I find it working just fine. The only downside for me at this point in time is that I cannot be using her and Tololo at the same time in the same team. I've kind of added that limitation for myself, so in the near future, ideally it would be great to either pull her weapon or pull another copy of this Planeta Assault Rifle, which would be useful for both these units. Jumping into the event upcoming for Aphelion. Aphelion is the name of the time-limited event which is incoming. We've got a lot of things going on here. We've got the Hazard Patrol, Assault Simulation, and Challenge Mode Part 1, which has been released and is accessible for the time being. And then we've got a few more incoming as part of the event Part 2. The story Part 1 has already been released. As you can see, I've completed it here, and they've also got a supply stage which you can get the time-limited event currency. The time-limited events currency then grants you access to the shop. The shop itself also has two parts, so I have pretty much bought out most of the things I want or need that are time-limited from this event, and I am waiting for the release of Part 2, which will then unlock the Part 2 shop as well, which I believe should use the same currency, and possibly will just have more of these items at a higher cost, which is what I'm anticipating. The second event comes with a story as well, so the Part 2 of the story, finishing off from the first part, which I'm very, very grateful for that. And you'd like to know that there is also a new character incoming. New cutscenes as part of the new story. And here we go, the new character we've kind of been waiting for as well. Mechty, that's what this call her name in Japanese. Her exclusive weapon. I find that her weapon looks really, really cool. I believe she is a support character as well, but we can look a little bit more into that. New skin for Shakri, which I believe a lot of people would be going on top of. Adding it to the summer collection, they seem to have an ongoing summer theme. I think it is possibly moving to summer in Asia, but I did come back from China and it's actually quite cold, so I don't think it's seasonal. New story in the themed event with more stages and more free currency, which I love about this game is they always give us a lot of free currency per stage. We get to meet more of the rest of the team. New sections of the event, the Path Forger, which looks like it's got a bit of an exploration map mechanism, and a new mechanism battling where you can aim with the characters, which is really cool. Glad that they're bringing the chibis back from the original game. Again, dangerous excavation where you get freebies and more freebies to claim as well. So additional 10 tickets. And then you also have Mechty's Covenant is available straight off the bat from her release, which is really awesome. Yeah, lots and lots of exciting new things coming. I'm gonna be excited to see some of these cutscenes. And as part of the event rundown, let's quickly go through everything. So we've got all of these things that were mentioned, and then got some new skins. Diane will also be coming back with a rerun if you didn't get her the first time around, and her skin will also be following with a rerun as well. So similar to, I guess, Mechty, who had a rerun, this is what's happening in the next update. This is just to do with the new targeted procurement, and glad to see that Shakri has been included in the 4 stars. So for anyone who wants to actually increase her fortification in the event, then they can also look at this as well. So it looks like Mechty, or Mechty, totally butchering her name right now because I don't think I'm saying it correctly, but is a support for the Corrosion team. So again, very good support for Klukai and her team, and Pertia. She apparently leaves toxic tiles on the map in one of her active skills, and then her ultimate skill is essentially a buff and debuff at the same time, where she applies status improvements for her allied units and as well as herself, and kind of decreases the damage received from any enemy units. So very, very excited to have her on the team. Also with her ultimate skill animation being quite nice. I think I would very much like to pull with this character, so kind of highly anticipating to have her on the team as well. But other than that, I think lots of things to come in this update in the next 4 days, so kind of really excited for those to arrive, and we'll hopefully create new videos to come with any additional updates for this game. I'm currently having a lot of fun playing this game and providing updates, so I do wish to continue doing so. If you also do enjoy content like this, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Leave any comments at all for anything that you think I could do to improve these videos. Otherwise, it's been great, and I hope to bring more videos like this soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.